They can close it out in 5. Utah can put extreme pressure on the heavily favored Kings by winning here and taking it to Sacramento, all tied up at 2.
The officials tonight, Dick Pavetta, Ken Maurer, and Ron Oleksiak as the Jazz with the first possession. Here is John Stockton. Stockton and Malone, a vintage game on Saturday for the first time in the series. Malone takes the first shot and the rebound by Mike Bibby. Bibby, defended by Stockton, goes around him. Wide open is Christie, and he hits. Christie has not been a factor offensively, only 27% from the field.
In that pick and roll situation, Stockton must force Bibby to use the pick and roll. Bibby loves to break it off, go baseline off the pick and roll. There he found Christie.
And Weber knocks it away and creates the turnover. Bibby feeding Weber inside, and Weber misses. The follow-up is missed, and Weber finally scores, and that is one thing.
Thin 2s and 3s in this series. No powerful scoring 2s and 3s, so it's really not his type of series.
And there's the player that the Jazz want to get going, and that is Matt Harpring, who has been struggling from the field, and the Jazz regain the lead by 1.
Very high percentage shooter in the regular season, down to 40% in the playoffs, and his scoring is down 4 points. So the Jazz need Matt Harpring to be that second option.
And Weber with the jumper, only his second basket of the game. And with under 7 minutes to go in the opening quarter, the Kings regain the lead by 1. Dick Stockton, Jeff Van Gundy, Todd Harris is with us as well here at the Delta Center. Ostertag playing the high post, and coming across is Harpring, and misses off the glass. That was a good look for Matt Harpring.
And again, Ostertag did a great job in setting the screen to free up Harpring. Ostertag's an underrated screener. Such very good picks to free people for catch-and-shoot jump shots.
Ostertag playing the best stretch of basketball in a long while as Cheney smoothly hits from the corner. So Albert Cheney, who with 15 points in game 3, already with 5 in this one. Utah by 1. Back and forth they go. Devons with a good feed from Christie, and now the Kings regain.
All of us sitting at the poker table right now, and it's like, who's going to drop first? And I'm not saying that's fair, but I think each one of us don't want to give the other one any indication to sway their decision, and that's just purely out of respect. And I'm sure I know I talk to Coach when it's over with, and I know I talk to Stock when it's over with.
But one thing we do know, Dick and Jeff, is that no decision whatsoever will be made until the season is over for the Utah Jazz. Dick?
All right, Todd, thank you very much. Meanwhile, during the break, Chris Weber was called for a technical foul, and still talking with Ron Oleksiak. He was very upset. And not because over a foul that he had picked up, and still talking with Oleksiak. John Stockton making the technical, and so Karl Malone now on the free throw line and looking for his first points of the game.
Ron Oleksiak did a good job there of officiating. He called the technical foul. He walked all the way to the other end of the court, and now, after the timeout, when they both have time to calm down, he talked with Weber. Both did it very respectfully, and now they can move on. Good piece of officiating. Malone running with the left-handed pass, and then a great extra pass by Kirilenko that led to that spot-up jumper.
Kirkland, the official at Arco Arena, and was helped off the court. He was suspended for 7 games as a result, and then last Saturday was ejected here. But it seemed that the Utah Jazz went on 2 runs after the first technical, Jeff. They went on a 17-8 run and then a 9-4 edge after he was ejected. So in the last 5 years, Jerry Sloan leads the parade. But you know, Jerry Sloan has the longest tenure of any coach and manager of any major sport going right now, and he is as much of a landmark as the Mormon Temple here in the city.
You saw some great coaches on that list, and Jerry Sloan, the Jazz play off his emotion and passion, and that's why they play so hard and overachieve so much. It's because of Jerry Sloan's coaching, teaching, and passion.
Weber now with 10 points, cutting the Jazz lead to 6. Kirilenko with Stockton, Ostertag, Malone, and Harpring. for the 5 starters, and setting the screen, the pick and roll, and instead they go inside. Stojakovic got a hand on it, knocked out of bounds, and the Jazz will have 4 seconds to attempt a shot.
John Stockton is just not on top of his passing game tonight yet. A lot of balls getting deflected, a few too many turnovers.
Harpring from the corner. Matt Harpring getting off to the best start he's had in the series. He has 9 points on 4 for 6 from the field. And again, an 8-point lead for the Jazz. Under 5 remaining in the first half. Utah leading all the way, but they know how explosive the Kings could be. Weber with the turnaround, and the rebound by Karl Malone. And here is Stockton pushing it up. The Jazz are not really a grinded-out team, as they will tell you. They'll go for the fast break when it's there. And the pass by Stockton off of Harpring. So 4 turnovers by John Stockton. Unusual for him, even at this stage of his career. Ostertag out to meet Weber, and the offensive foul called against Chris Weber. That will be his second, and that was clear cut. Again,
Ostertag may well not have scored yet tonight, but his defense has been outstanding. Here, he makes Weber put it on the floor. He beats him to the spot, draws an offensive foul, and really he's had an effect on Weber's field goal percentage. So far tonight, 5 of 13. Weber's going to get his points. What Ostertag must do is make him less efficient, and that's exactly what he's done so far.
So Weber been a bit frustrated here, and Ostertag doing things other than scoring. He's got the rebounds, good defense. Vlade Divac checking into the game as Keon Clark goes out, and Divac is knocked down, and now Ostertag all over Ron Oleksiak, and Ostertag has picked up his 3rd foul. That is critical here with 4:11 remaining here in the 3rd, and a technical foul has been called as well.
There, Divac ran over Harpring, and then Harpring tripped Divac. So
it's Harpring's foul.
Right, it was a foul on Harpring, but Dick, I think it should have been the first foul called on Divac, not the second foul call. That happens many times where they see the second action instead of the first.
And the technical foul called against the coach, Jerry Sloan. And just as we were talking about his problems with the technicals, the free throw made by Stojakovic.
Here the screen is set, then they're tangled up. I'm not sure any foul should have been called there, but there's so much contact. The referee sometimes just feels compelled to make a call to keep the game under control.
So Sloan with a technical foul already, and one more, and he'll be ejected once more. And Stojakovic off the side of the backboard. Jazz with the ball, leading by 7 points with 3:48 remaining here in the first half, and the reaching foul against Divac. A non-shooting situation. And for more on Jerry Sloan and his problems with the officials and technical fouls, let's check in with Todd Harris.
Well, Dick, as you mentioned, he's been ejected twice this year against the Kings. Both times they won. And prior to Game 3, Bobby Sloan, Jerry's wife, told him as he was leaving the house, Jerry, don't get kicked out of the game. Back to you, Dick.
Well, Bobby Sloan now has seen that margin narrow, because he has 1 technical, 1 more, and he's gone. And it's Harpring now with 11 points. Here is Bibby long range, and Malone snaring the rebound. 5 rebounds for Malone. That's a 9-point lead for the Jazz. With a basket here, they can match their biggest lead of the game with 3:10 to go. And Christie knocking the ball away, and a technical foul called against Christie. Called for the personal. He batted the ball away from Matt Harpring. So Christie gets a tee.
Both teams have just got to calm down and focus all of their energy and effort onto what's happening on the floor. The extracurricular stuff has got to go. Both teams must keep their poise. You've got to play with emotion in this game, Dick. The playoffs are emotional, but you cannot cross the line.
The offensive foul was called on Matt Harpring, and Christie inexplicably knocking the ball away. So very quiet for the Kings after a big scoring game on Saturday. Ostertag with the short hook shot, in and out. And the rebound by Chris Webber. So Deshaun Stevenson, who was suspended for 1 game for mouthing off against Jerry Sloan and did play some.
Take him, Chris. Take him.
And this is the call that Maloofs, the owners of the Kings, were talking about. Webber driving right, using his arm to shed Ostertag, and they were talking a little trash. Take him, Chris. He can't guard you.
You know, they better watch out, otherwise the Maloofs may get a tee. Everyone else is getting one tonight.
It could happen.
Webber has 12 to lead the Sacramento Kings. Harpring with 11 and Karl Malone 10 top the Jazz scores as we get close to 2 minutes remaining. And Dick Rivetta calling the foul, and we've had a lot of fouls away from the basket, and that will be on Divac. 3 on Divac, and that's a big call.
Right now, the officials are continuing to take control of the game, and it's up to the players to adjust. It's going to do them no good to argue, complain, and whine after the game about bad calls. I think that was an illegal screen by Stevenson, but Divac can't just rid him and take a foul that hurts his team. That
has been one of the problems that the Kings have faced, the fact that they have a penchant for arguing officials' calls a little bit too much and perhaps getting out of their game. Here is Massenberg into the game, and he misses close in. Christie getting the rebound. What's interesting is the Kings, who are shooting 44% from threes in this series, have missed their first 4 attempts. Here's Webber working in against Malone, and Webber now with 14, cutting the lead to 6.
And you can see why Jerry Sloan plays Ostertag on Webber. His size affects him. When Malone has to guard it, Webber feels more comfortable that he can get that jump hook over Karl Malone.
There's Malone setting the screen. Stockton gets an opening, and Kirilenko fighting for the offensive rebound. Big play by Andrei Kirilenko from Russia, and he's got to be one of the top 6-man candidates in the country.
And what you love about Kirilenko is you don't have to run a play for him to be effective.
Webber coming right back. He has 16 here in the first half, 10 here in the second quarter. 1:05 remaining in the first half. Jazz leading the Kings 41-35, trying to even the best of 7 to 2 games apiece. Going baseline with Stockton, the ball knocked away. 2-on-1. Bibi Stojakovic, and Bibi will feed Peja Stojakovic for the basket. Only 5 points for Peja thus far, and the lead now down to 4. And here's Stevenson with the pass to Massenberg, deflected away. Webber and Pollard both there to knock the ball away. And a chance now for the Kings to get even closer before intermission. And Webber fouled by Malone on the reach-in foul. That'll be 2 on Karl Malone, and one that he would like to have back. Coming up on the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report, E.J. Kenny and special guest Mario Ellie back in our TNT studios. Highlights and interviews from tonight's Game 4 between the Sixers and the Hornets. Preview of Game 5 tomorrow between the Lakers and the Timberwolves. And analysis of the first half here. Deshaun Stevenson, after Kirilenko got a piece of that one. A big first half for Andrei Kirilenko. And his pass, however, looking for Malone, picked off by Webber. And playing for the final shot of the first half. And Bibi out of bounds. And Bibi finishing 1 for 10, but Webber bailing out the Kings with 16 points to keep them within range here in the first half. We're at the Delta Center, where the Utah Jazz trying to draw even in the best of 7, leading 41-37 at halftime here at home. And other than the 4-0 lead that the Kings had, it's been all Utah. But I think it's got to be pointed out that when you really analyze what's going on, the Kings, one of the highest scoring teams in the NBA, Jeff. They have 37 points, well below what they normally have. They're shooting 34% from the field. They've gone to the line only 3 times. They haven't made any threes, and they've been out-rebounded by 9, and yet they're down by only 4. So they can't be in bad shape right now.
No, they've got to be pleased with how poorly they played to only be down 4 points. And if you're Utah, you've dominated, but because of 14 turnovers, you have taken 15 less shots than Sacramento. Harpring 4 turnovers, Malone 3 turnovers, Stockton 4 turnovers. It's really taken away from how well the Jazz played in the first half.
Now, Jeff, right now, let's take a look at the Home Depot game summary for the first half, and here it is.
And there is the number, 14 Utah turnovers. Only turned into 6 Sacramento points, but the whole purpose is you're not getting shots up at the basket. So you're executing, you're getting good shots, but you're not getting enough.
And right now, let's check in with Todd Harris.
All right, thank you very much, Dick. Well, both locker rooms pretty calm, so to speak. For Rick Adelman's Kings, it's all about just executing, playing Kings ball, no panic whatsoever. Jerry Sloan really had a point of contention with his team. He wants to see better perimeter passing, and he said give better fakes before you drive or pass on the outside. Dick?
All right, Todd, thank you very much. I think maybe the highlight of the half is the fact that the astute and adroit way you use the telestrator.
Well, for my first ever attempt, because of Mike Fratello's selfishness and never allowing me the opportunity to use the telestrator, now I finally get my first chance, and I think I performed admirably.
Very well. Now, it'll take a while for you to be czar, too, you know, but you're on your way.
I'm just worried about being the best Jeff Van Gundy I can with the telestrator.
Oh, you know what? You're 1-0 on that.
Thank you, Dick. I appreciate that and the opportunity to show my skill.
Christie firing away. He was an early scoring factor in this game with 4 points. With the air ball, beating him at the other end is Karl Malone. And the Maloots can't like that. Weber coming back with 2. Weber has had the answer. He has 18 points in the game, and Malone has 12. So the main figures on both of these teams scoring early here in the third. It is a 4-point lead. Harpring coming off the screen, and that will drop for him. Matt Harpring, 6 for 8 from the field, and really getting that shooting percentage up. It was 40% coming in. 6-point lead, and here is Christie for 3, and the Kings still coming up empty from beyond the arc where they have excelled. Stojakovic, and he breaks through. Peja Stojakovic breaking through. He has been phenomenal. 10 for 19, over 50% from threes coming into the game.
Dick, one of the hardest times to defend the 3 is after the second shot. Divot's quick rebound and outlet to Stojakovic. Tough to guard through the Utah Jazz.
Harpring again coming off the screen for his 15th point, and the lead for the Jazz is 5. Kings, by the way, a very good road club. Last year in the playoffs, they won 5 out of 7 games away from home. So they are not fazed at all by being the visitors, even at the Delta Center. Bibby going behind to Weber, and Stockton pestering him. Weber driving in, and misses everything, and finally it drops in. And it's 47-44. Vlade Divac getting the basket. And again, the Kings hovering around the Jazz, trailing by only 3. 2 minutes gone by, third quarter. Weber with 18, leading the Kings. Harpring has 15, Malone 12 for the Jazz, and Harpring, after 2 shots, misses, and Bibby forcing it up. Stockton backpedaling. They go out to Stojakovic for another 3, and he hits. And if the Kings start to get their aim on the long-range shot, the Utah Jazz could be in trouble here.
And again, that's the second most difficult time to guard the 3 is in transition. So the second shot 3 by Stojakovic, and then the transition 3. They didn't want to let him get off. He has gotten off.
So the game is tied at 47. And Stockton driving around Bibby in the lane, drawing the foul. Quick move by John Stockton, and he is fouled by Bibby.
Here comes the first Stojakovic 3. Divac with the rebound, and then the quick cross-court pass knocked it down, and then Bibby does a good job drawing the second defender in Harpring in transition, finding Stojakovic for another wide-open look.
So Peja Stojakovic, 2 for 2. He is 12 for 21 from three-point range in this series, which is a phenomenal number. Stockton making good on the first free throw.
And Dick, I think John Stockton, particularly in this series, needs to be more aggressive looking for his own shot. Sacramento's playing him for the pass. If he can penetrate and get deep penetration, they're not really committing to him. He's got to look to shoot the ball.
And Jeff Stockton making a move to give the Jazz the lead again by 2. Here is Christie. Weber faking and shooting finally over Ostertag. And Chris Weber now with 20 points. Weber coming in, averaging nearly 20 points a game. Stojakovic was the scoring leader for the Kings at 21 plus, and we're tied at 49. Albert Cheney going back to Malone on the outside, knocked away. Bibby making a fine defensive play. Here's a 2-on-1. Christie to Bibby, and Bibby not seeing the shot will set it up. Going baseline, Stojakovic for 2, getting his own rebound. Here's Peja driving in and getting the layup. So Peja Stojakovic now has 8 points here in the third quarter, and the Sacramento Kings have their first lead since early on. 51-49 in favor of the Kings. And Calvert Cheney off the screen. And here is the lead pass to Stojakovic from Bibby. And it looks like the Kings are in rhythm right now. The three-point attempt off the rim by Peja Stojakovic. Kings already scoring 14 points in less than 5 minutes here in the third quarter. And the Jazz called for the offensive foul.
Bibby made a great baseline pass to Stojakovic, who'd already knocked down 2 threes. He missed that one, but followed his shot and then took it to the basket. When you get a guy off with a couple open shots, he feels more energized, he feels better about himself. There's Stojakovic, followed up his shot, took it hard to the rim.
Albert Cheney with the offensive foul, his third. Double team on Stojakovic. Good ball movement by the Kings. Bibby, however, missing from three-point range.
But the ball's moving better, more on target. They're getting quality looks this half compared to last half.
Stockton, and you said he should look for a shot, and he did there. And here is Weber handling the ball, going behind to Stojakovic. Ostertag getting the rebound, and now the Jazz looking for the opportunity. Nearly 5 minutes have gone by here in the third quarter. Dick Stockton along with Jeff Van Gundy and Todd Harris. Game 4 of the best of 7. Harpring with a tough basket inside, and he's got 17.
He's playing very well tonight, very efficient offensively, converting his opportunities.
And having his finest scoring game by far. And the Jazz were hoping he would get unleashed a bit here. 6:40 to go, game tied at 51 in the third. And Devon's defended by Malone and isolated down in the low post. 1 on the shot clock, and the hook shot will count. The hook shot at the buzzer goes for Devon's and the Kings, who are up by 2.
Sacramento's a much better team when Divac is involved emotionally in the game and offensively. He's got to present himself more in the low post.
And a phenomenal offensive rebounder in the first 2 games of the series. And now Vic Pavetta calls the blocking foul on Mike Bibby, his second.
Malone's bodying up to Divac in the low post. Shot clock's winding down. He turns away from Malone, shoots the right hand hook off the glass. He's an excellent offensive player in the low post. Because of Weber's greatness, they don't use him that much when Weber's in the game, but he's an effective scorer and passer.
And the foul on Harpring, and that will be his 4th personal foul. So Harpring, who has been the leading scorer for the Jazz at 17 points, picks up a very costly 4th foul and will go to the bench in favor of Andrei Kirilenko.
And this is Harpring's 3rd offensive foul, setting screens. He's got to know what's being called and adjust. He's too valuable to the Jazz to be on the bench with offensive fouls.
And in fact, Jeff, the Jazz have 6 offensive fouls in the game. Kings by 2, nearly halfway. The Kings lead the Jazz 53-51.
Everybody about this Jazz.
With the ball and the lead by 2, Weber finding an opening and a deflection inside. Ostertag might have gotten a piece of it, and trying to tie up Vlade Divac. And the timeout was called before he was tied up and helped up by Lawrence Funderburk as he goes back to the bench. But so important is Devonts, who was a whirling dervish in the first 2 games of the series. Offensive rebound, great passing, and then was outplayed in game 3.
He is. He's so important to them, and he's so, you know, he's got so many skills, Dick. Such versatility to his game. Sometimes I think he takes too much of a back seat.
Chris Webber with 20 points, leading scorer in the game, and Harpering with 17, but he is on the bench with 4 personal fouls. Delta Center, and hoping that this is not the last time they see Karl Malone and John Stockton teammates. Of course, even if the Jazz lose, they still could come back for another game. But if the Kings win this game and close it out in game 5 on Wednesday, this will be the last time Stockton and Malone could be here in uniform. And of course, that's a big question that no one knows. Will Malone go to another team? There have been soundings. And of course, will John Stockton retire? That's always a possibility. Stockton at 41. Malone will be 40 soon. And there is Stojakovic from Webber. Picked up the loose ball. And a 4-point Sacramento lead matches their biggest early in the game.
Webber's going to take the assist on that one, Dick. He's not going to say it was a loose ball. He's going to call it a pass. But I like how he's attacking the basket to start the second half and setting the tone for his team.
Cheney driving in, could not do anything. And now the Kings gaining momentum here in the 3rd quarter. And you kind of knew they would, down by only 4 with the way they were shooting, not going to the line and not hitting threes. Webber trying to get a foul, and an awkward play just fired it up there without even looking. And now the Jazz coming back, trying to regain their footing. They had the lead most of the way, and Devonts with the reaching foul on Malone. That's his 4th. That's a big one.
That's a big foul right there. Devonts had started to get into the game in the second half, and now to have to go and sit down because of foul trouble really could break their momentum. Just really not an intelligent play by Devonts to try to strip Malone at that point of the game with that foul trouble when he wasn't in danger in the low post.
So Devonts will go to the bench. He has scored 6 points, but he has been very active and a good defender inside. Scott Pollard replaces him for the Kings. Off the screen is Kirilenko. Stojakovic stays with him. Mark Jackson replacing Jackson as he, or Stockton as he always does at this juncture. Kirilenko front rim. Does at this juncture. Kirilenko front rimming the jump shot. So the Kings again with the ball and the 4-point lead. Bibby with Webber, Pollard, Christie, and Stojakovic, and Mike Bibby, who has been quiet in this game. Only his 2nd field goal, but he gives the Kings their biggest lead of the game.
The Bibby-Webber pick and roll is a difficult one when Bibby's making that off the dribble jump shot.
Under 4.5 to go in the 3rd, and Cheney going down to Kirilenko. Kirilenko over Pollard. Andre Kirilenko now with 6 points, but doing so much more than just scoring for the Jazz off the bench.
His scoring is a bonus. Where he stands out for them is with his energy and his effort.
Bibby with a drive. So Bibby, who is 3 for 13 from the field, but making key baskets here in the later stages of the 3rd quarter. Again, a 6-point Sacramento lead. And there'll be a foul called against the Jazz, and it'll be, or against the Kings, we should say, Doug Christie called for the foul away from the ball. That'll be his 2nd.
The Bibby-Webber pick and roll is difficult. Here, Bibby uses the screen to knock in the 17-foot jumper, and then he fakes using the screen, crosses over away, and hits the little runner. You have to make Bibby use the pick and roll.
And the offensive foul, and we have had so many offensive fouls called and plays away from the ball. Calbert Cheney with his 4th foul, and they are going to send in Deshaun Stevenson. So Stevenson is coming into the game now for the Utah Jazz. In his 3rd year out of Washington Union High School in Fresno, California. And the Jazz feel he has a great upside. And here is Bibby, ball knocked away, and the turnover goes the other way. Here is Kirilenko slicing his way in, beating Stojakovic. 59-55, and Sloan telling his team to get on there defensively, trying to break what has been the Kings' momentum here in the third quarter. Weber stepping back, feeding nicely inside to Christie, and trying to keep it alive was Pollard, but it'll be a foul called against the Utah Jazz and a technical foul. Pollard called for the foul. It was Pollard with the personal, and the technical foul called. Rick Adelman on the bench. And let's see whether a double technical was called here, and apparently it was both Pollard and Malone for the Jazz. Pollard and Malone, double technicals. Malone on the line with 3:10 to go. There have been 5 technical fouls called in this game, and we still have 3 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the third.
Here's how the double technicals occurred. Great pass by Weber inside. Malone reaches back, knocks Pollard. A lot of contact on the second shot. There Pollard gets called for the foul. A little bumping and jostling after the foul. Double technicals. I hate the double technical. I want to know who initiated it. Call it on the guy who initiated it.
It's like a cop-out.
Well, yeah, and if you can't see who initiated, I think the NBA officials use that call too much. I think they know who initiates it sometimes, but would rather just diffuse the situation with the double technical. They're probably a good call, but I just don't like that call for the reason you said, Dick, a cop-out.
Great officiating crew, and you're looking at Dick Bavetta, one of the greatest, Ken Maurer and Ron Alesiak. And Malone now 8 for 10 from the free throw line. It's 59-57, and Bobby Jackson checking in, replacing Doug Christie. So now many of the players on the very potent bench coming in for Rick Adelman. Here is Bibby. He's had a great third quarter, and he continues with it as Bibby now has 6 of his 8 points in this period, and it's a 4-point Kings lead.
And again, there was the Bibby-Weber pick and roll with no help by Ostertag.
Jackson looking in for Malone. Defending is Weber. 9 on the shot clock. Here is Mark Jackson feeding off instead to Deshaun Stevenson. Ostertag trying to keep it alive, and the outlet to Bibby. And here's Bibby driving in and finding Stojakovic wide open for 3, and he's got another one. His third three-pointer here in the third quarter, and a 7-point lead for the Kings. And Hedo Turkoglu off the bench. Sacramento trying to move in front substantially here in this quarter. Here is Jackson with the runner. The tip attempt doesn't go. Jackson picks it up again, and a new clock with 2 minutes remaining. 2 minutes to go, and put in by Malone on the follow.
Good effort by Utah right there. Jackson's penetration, even though he missed, brought big men on big men, allowed Utah to get 2 cracks at the offensive board.
Malone with 16, and coming back is Weber with 22. So Weber with 22 points. 7-point Sacramento lead. They trailed at the half by 4, so this has been a big third quarter for the Kings.
Bibby's dominating the game right now with his offense, both his scoring and passing, finding Stojakovic, Weber, and then putting the ball in off the pick and roll.
Bibby coming off a 23-point game, another turnover by the Jazz, and Bobby Jackson beats him. So 19 turnovers by the Utah Jazz, an incredible number considering they only had
If Malone's not in the post, their other bigs, Ostertag and Massenberg, aren't efficient low post players, so the pressure is always on Malone to produce low post scoring.
Stojakovic trying to find an opening, and he cannot miss. Stojakovic shooting here in the second half has been uncanny. He has 19 points here in the second half, and the lead is 13. Peja, 7 of 10 from the field here in the third and fourth quarters. Stockton coming back with a jumper. He has 9 in the game.
That's what I mean. I think he's got to come off situations like the pick and roll thinking shot. They're going underneath. He's got to knock it in.
Down low, the turnaround by Weber. Chris Weber now, at 24 for him. Malone with 22, Weber with 24, but Stojakovic and Weber combining for 48 points for their starting forward.
That was a great move by Weber because he was just so patient, backing in, no double team.
And Malone driving, slashing to the hoop, and another defensive 3-second violation called. That's the second one against the Kings here. And opened up as much as an 11-point lead in the first half of the game, but a sizzling third quarter, 36-18 Bulls, has turned this game around. Pollard running right into Malone, trying to tie up Pollard, and he does.
Great defensive play by Malone. He's not really a shot blocker. He gets the shot before it goes up in the air. Usually he strips down. There, he just used his strength to tie Pollard up and force the jump ball. Just tremendous strength by Malone. He just snatched it away from Pollard, who's pretty strong himself.
And Pollard, native of Utah. His father was a high school star here and played at the University of Utah. A lot of Pollard's brothers played at Brigham Young. Here is Jackson for 2. Bobby Jackson, and it's tipped out of bounds. And it's last touched by the Kings. So the Jazz trying to narrow this 12-point deficit. Stockton knifing in, and Pollard got all ball out of bounds. And it'll still be a Utah ball. So Stockton running right into the big paws of Scott Pollard.
I thought that was a foul. I thought Stockton did a good job trying to turn the corner, and I thought he got bumped with the body. Should have been a foul and on the line.
Stockton hitting the jumper with a flash. 12 points for Stockton. And 4 Jazz in double figures, led by Karl Malone's 22. Ostertag and Weber now making a move to the basket against the double team, and he beats it. Chris Weber, 26 in the game, and again a 12-point Bulls.
Chris Weber does not get enough credit for his offensive versatility. There, he took Ostertag off the dribble, tough running hook shot in the lane over multiple help defenders.
Stojakovic on the hold on the feed inside. 3 on Stojakovic with 6:16 to go in the fourth. Matt Harpring, who has 5 fouls coming back in the game, and no sense in waiting anymore to bring Matt Harpring in, who has 17 tonight.
No, good decision. You're down big. You need your best players on the floor to have a chance to win. This is a no-risk move.
Stockton blocked by Pollard, out of bounds, last touched by the Jazz. So the Kings, tell you what, Pollard doing a good job inside against a lot of the cutters and drivers for Utah.
Very good protecting the basket, both with his body taking charges and with the block shot.
And Weber bodied by Ostertag on the perimeter and the double team. Bobby Jackson fakes the pass and hits a 3. Bobby Jackson hitting a critical 3-point basket, opening up the biggest lead of the game for Rick Adelman and the Sacramento Kings. It's 88-73 with under 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And this Delta Center crowd has been quieted considerably by Sacramento's fire here in the second half, and they're going to call Weber with the foul on Malone.
Here's Bobby Jackson's 3-point shot, fakes the pass, launches the 3, knocks it in, and then his Sacramento teammates know they are only 6 minutes away from taking a commanding 3-1 series lead. Good, McGrady's just at a different level than Detroit has no answer for the other players of the Magic.
And coming down with the rebound, and they're going to jump Pollard and Harpering. 5:11 to go. 15-point lead. Andre Kirilenko will replace Calbert Chaney in the lineup for the Utah Jazz.
And Dick, the Sacramento response here is of championship caliber. Tough road game, a game they needed to win. The Utah Jazz crowd has been unbelievable, and they just came out in the third quarter and put it to them, and now are just maintaining their lead.
Here's Kirilenko from Stockton. And maybe that's a spark that the Jazz can use. Down by 13. Still plenty of time remaining. 5 minutes to go, and Bobby Jackson getting in the low post. Whoever quick double team with Stockton. Trying to find the open man is Jim Jackson for 3, and he hits a big one. Great ball movement by Sacramento.
Utah went to their half-court trapping defense, trapping the first pass in the low post. Good ball movement by Sacramento. Unselfish play led to the wide-open jumper by Jackson.
And Kirilenko going up looking for the foul and gets it. Well, we talked about how the game changed dramatically for the Kings, especially in the shooting department. Remember, they had no three-point baskets in the first half. They've come back with 5 here in the second. 3 by that man, Peja Stojakovic.
That's what they call pure. He is a pure shooter. When he's on, he's got his feet set. That ball doesn't hit rim. It goes straight through. Really, he's the most dangerous guy in transition now that we have in the league from the three-point line. Reggie Miller used to be, but again, he's got to reintroduce himself to his teammates. I'm still not off that soapbox yet.
No, I don't blame you. 1 free throw, 13 for Kirilenko. Stojakovic, by the way, an all-star for 2 straight years and was in the starting lineup with Chris Webber, hampered with injury, and Ostertag on the hold. So Ostertag picking up his 4th foul. And 91-76, and time starting to be a bit of a factor for the Utah Jazz and Jerry Sloan.
I love the way Weber's just taking his time tonight in the post. He is shooting the open ones. He's passing the ball like there to Jackson, and then he's taking it to the rim.
And Stojakovic is putting it through the rim with his 4th three-pointer of the second half. And right now, you'd have to say the Sacramento Kings can feel it. They are up 94-76 with 4 minutes remaining, and the Maloof brothers trying to see the Kings win a big road game and take that 3-1 lead back to the state capital in California. Meanwhile, Kirilenko, not to be denied, now with 15 points. And the Sacramento Kings in front, 94-78, 3:45 remaining in the 4th. And the double team on Weber, leaving Bibby open. Bibby and Stojakovic. And there are some of the others, the all-time tandems. And there is Nada Stockton, the wife of John Stockton. They have 6 kids, and John said, if I loved to play, if I weren't playing here, I'd be playing in the driveway with my kids. And Kay Malone is here as well. And Kay on the left, and Cheryl Ford, who was the 3rd draft in the WNBA. So there's got to be some emotion without question here, Jeff.
There's no doubt. Stockton's out now. Carl will probably be coming out after he gets off the free throw line. To compete against those guys from a coaching standpoint was to know you were always going to have to bring your best, because they always brought their best. And when you're going up against greatness, Dick, you know it. And those 2 guys, despite not winning a championship together, are championship caliber athletes because they gave that type of effort every single night out.
And consistently, and played every year. And even this year, John Stockton played every game at age 41.
Some guys go out with injuries, these fake injuries. Other guys fight through it. Malone and Stockton not only were great players, they were the most durable players of their era.
John Amici in his first playoff action has checked into the game as Jerry Sloan has emptied his bench. Karl Malone remains on the floor as Carlos Arroyo, Deshaun Stevenson, Scott Padgett there, and Malone's going out, and here he comes. Karl Malone will get the standing ovation. If you talk to the two of them, they'll just say, we're down 3-1 and we've got a long road to go. They're not thinking about anything else but this series and what's next.
Right, they're not thinking about the end as athletes. All of us will speculate. They're concerned with what adjustments can they make to bring this game back to Utah, or this series back to Utah. That single-minded focus is one of the reasons they were both so great.
97-81, the Sacramento Kings headed for the 3-1 lead in this best-of-7 series. And the Kings coming right back by winning on the road here after they were attacked, as Rick Adelman said, and the aggressive Jazz winning Saturday in Game 3. Scott Pollard will foul at the series thus far, and John Stockton 12 points and 7 assists, and who knows if we will see these two again in a Jazz uniform here in Salt Lake City. The final score, the Sacramento Kings 99, the Utah Jazz 82. Amici